Good morning, students. Today we are going to see Standard 6th History, Chapter number 11 Ancient India and the World. Here in this topic, we are going to countries in Asia. Let's start with the first one, India and the countries of the West. People of the Harappa civilization had developed trade relation with the countries of the West. Ever since then, India has had economic and cultural exchanges with the outside world. Buddhism had spread to Afghanistan and to many countries of Central Asia. During the period of the Iranian Empire, India's contact with the Western world increased. The Greek historians of that period grew more curious about India. So, as with the people of the Harappan civilization, which had taken a lead to the development of our country, and with the other countries to make a trade relation, that import-export process had been taken place in our country. So, as in the West, ever here the cultural exchange with outside world had taken a lead to the economic and cultural development in our country, and up to that time Buddhism had spread in Afghanistan and many countries of Central Asia. Under this, the Iranian Empire, they have made contact with the Western world, which increased, and also it had been created in between the Greek historians about the curiosity about the India, what is India and what is their tradition and their culture. To know about them, they tried to make contact with the Indian people or to make a trade relation with the Indians. The routes which were later used by Alexander were open for trade between India and the countries of the West. Under the influence of the Greek art of sculpture, a new form of art emerged in India during the Kushana countries of West between the Alexander to take a trade route between the India and the Arab traders or the Greek traders. It is called Gandhara School of Art. In the Gandhara Art School, images of Gautam Buddha were mainly carved, as these images were mostly found in the Gandhara region of Afghanistan. The style is called the Gandhara style. So, as in Gandhara School of Art, many of the images that is related to Gautam Buddha, which are carved in that school. Also, it is mostly found in the Gandhara region, which is in Pakistan, and that style which is known as a Gandhara style. Here you can see a statue of Gautam Buddha in a museum in Paris in the Gandhara style. So you can see this is one of the Gandhara style statue. The facial features of the statue made in the style are similar to those of the Greek people. The early coins that were minted in India were also like Greek coins. So, as in previous chapters I told you that the Greek people, they were having on one side the king's photo and on another side the deity's photo. So this type of coins was minted by the Greek people. So similar type of coins had been minted in our country also. A sculpture in the Gandhara style on a stupa at Hada in Afghanistan, Greek costumes, amphor and musical instruments. You can see here different musical instruments they are playing, and that is between India and Rome flourish. The ports in South India also had a large share in this trade. Some articles made of bronze were found in the excavations at Kolhapur. They have been made in Rome. The excavations at Arikmedu in Tamil Nadu have also brought to light many articles made in Rome. So, as during the excavations, many things we had got in our country around the 1st and 2nd century CE. A trade between India and Rome had been flourished. From that we can come to know the materials which we got from the excavations, that is from Rome, which shows or which results that a trade relation between India and Rome. They have been made in Rome. The excavations at Arikmedu in Tamil Nadu have also brought to light many articles made in Rome. Both these places were important centers of trade between India and Rome. Many such trade centers are mentioned in the literature of those times. So, as the times a trade relation between India and Rome was taken place, that can be lead through the literature and by the different materials which is from the Rome, which we had got from the excavations. From that all, we can come to know that a trade relation between India and Rome had been taken place in the first and second century CE. A gold coin of Roman Emperor Augustus found at Arikmedu. So, during excavation, they got this coin at Arikmedu, which is in Tamil Nadu, which shows a trade relation between India and Rome. India and Asia, you can see the green dotted line, it shows the trade routes. This given route. Here you can see from Egypt, Arabstan, then from India, from Arabian Sea to Bay of Bengal, from Myanmar and up to Cambodia. These were all the parts of the trade route. From this route, the trading had been carried in Asia, India and Asia. Alexandria was an important port in Egypt. The Arab merchants carried Indian goods up to Alexandria. From there, they were sent to the countries in Europe. Beside Indian goods, the Arabs also conveyed India philosophy and science to Europe. The concept of zero is one of the Indians' major contribution to the world. It was the Arabs who introduced the Indian concepts to Europe. So, a little information about the Alexandria. They had given that the Alexandria, it is an important port of Egypt. Also, different Arab merchants, they carried Indian goods from this Alexandria. Also, here they had given that they had sent countries, many different goods were sent to Europe from this port. And Indian goods, the Arabs also conveyed them philosophy like science and to Europe. They had carried from India to their countries. The concept of zero is also carried by the Arab traders, and they had introduced the Indian concept to Europe. India and other countries in Asia. Many countries in Asia were greatly a wall painting of the Sigiriya caves. Sri Lanka. King Ashoka had sent his son Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra to Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism. This concept I told you in previous chapter. Their names are mentioned in the Buddhist text Mahavamsa written in Sri Lanka. Sanghamitra carried a branch of the Bodhi tree with her. The Sri Lankan tradition believes that the Bodhi tree at Anuradhapur in Sri Lanka has grown from the same branch. So, as this is the concept here, Sanghamitra, she had carried a branch of the Bodhi tree with her to Sri Lanka, and this is a belief, or this is a tradition belief, that this Bodhi tree at Anandpur as Anuradhapur in Sri Lanka has grown from that tree branch, from the same branch of the Bodhi tree. There was a great demand in India for Sri Lanka pearls and other precious stones, so they were transported from this country to another country. In the 5th century CE, King Kashyap had caves dug out at a place called Sigiriya. The wall paintings in these caves bear a resemblance to the paintings in the Ajanta caves. So, as like in Ajanta caves we are having paintings, like that only paintings are seen in this Sigiriya caves. So, a painting just only we had seen here. This is a wall painting of Sigiriya caves. So, like this only paintings are seen in the Ajanta caves. The Sri Lankan Buddhist works Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa provide information about the close relation between India and Sri Lanka. They were written in the Pali languages. So, as the information about the Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa in the text about the as this all texts are written in Pali languages. China and other countries. Right from the ancient times, India and China had established trade and cultural relations. So as like the other countries, with China also, the India was having a trade relations and also a cultural relations with them. Emperor Harshvardhan had even sent an ambassador to the Chinese court. Chinese silk was known as Chinanshuka and was in great demand in India. So as from China, that silk was transported from China to India as it was in great demand in our country. Merchants in ancient India supplied Chinese silk to Western countries. Also, the Chinese silk was supplied from India to other Western countries. The land route by which the silk trade was carried on was called the Silk Route. So, as the route which was used to trade or to export this silk, Chinese silk, that route was known as Silk Route. Some ancient places in India were connected to this route. Nalasopara near Mumbai in Maharashtra was one such place. The Chinese Buddhist bhikkhus Fa-Hien and Yongchong also came to India through this Silk Route. As about Yongchong and Fa-Hien in previous chapters also we had studied, but they had not studied tradition and our culture. In the 1st century CE, the Ming Emperor of China invited the Buddhist bhikkhus Dharmarakshaka and Kashyap Matanga into China. The bhikkhus translated many Indian Buddhist texts into the Chinese languages. This gave impetus to the spread of Buddhism in China. So as according to this, about the bhikkhu was in the 1st century CE, Ming Emperor he invited the Buddhist bhikkhu Dharmarakshaka and Kashyap Matanga to Chinese to convert the Buddhist text into the Chinese languages. So, which had been taken a lead to spread the Buddhism in China. Later, the Buddhism also reached Japan, Korea, and Vietnam. Countries in Southeast Asia. The ancient kingdom of Funan in Cambodia was established in the 1st century CE. Evidence is available from Chinese traditions that an Indian named Kaundinya established people of Funan knew the Sanskrit language. A stone inscription of that period is still in existence. It is in the Sanskrit. In many other countries, the Southeast Asia, two small kingdoms established by people of the Indian origin had emerged. These kingdoms helped to spread Indian culture to Southeast Asia. So as countries in Southeast Asia has also taken place under this content, many different Funan new Sanskrit language was known. A stone inscription is also found that which shows the period's existence, and it is in the Sanskrit in many other countries of in Indonesia. This one also we can come to know. Indian culture had a deep impact on the art of culture, like the Southeast dance dramas based on stories from the two Indian epics Ramayana and Mahabharata are popular in Indonesia and even today. This influence continued to increase over the years. In the ancient period, the Buddhist religion spread to Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, etc. In the last year, temples of Lord Shiva and Vishnu were also built here. This year, we have revived Indian history from 3000 BCE to the 8th century CE. Next year, we will study the history of Indian from the 9th century CE. The history of this period is known as medieval history. So, as this year, we have studied about the medieval history, and in the which will be coming on when you will go to 7th standard. That time you are going to study about the medieval history. Now we have studied about the ancient history. In that, about the countries of Southeast Asia, in that content, we had seen that India had a close relation with Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, and China. The Indian missionaries took Buddhism to the countries of Asia. Indian philosophy, culture, ideas of religion also reached these countries. Also, we had seen that India had trade relations with Sri Lanka and China. Many Hindu and Buddhist temples are seen in many countries of Southeast Asia. And India has left a deep imprint on the art of culture of Asia. All this concept we have seen in this. And in the first content we have seen that India had trade relations with Western countries. Western countries since the days of Harappan civilization. Buddhism had spread in Afghanistan, Central Asia. India's contact with the Western world increased with trade relations with Iran. The Greek historians informed the people in the West about India. So the route by which Alexander had invaded India was later opened up for the trade relation. The Greek art of sculpture had greatly influenced during the Kushana period and the Gandhara school of art which had been emerged. Also we had seen about the India's trade relation with Rome further enhanced in the 1st and 2nd century AD. The evidence of the trade relation which had been found at Kolhapur in Maharashtra and Arikmedu in Tamil Nadu during this period. Arabs were imported traders who took India goods to the Egyptian port of Alexandria. That one also we had seen. They also took Indian science and philosophy and also the concept of zero in mathematics to Europe. So these were all the points which we had discussed in this chapter. So in this way we had completed ancient India and the world. Read this chapter again, complete given exercise and learn given question and answers. That's all for today. Thank you.